It's tuna time, and we're keeping it simple. Angelo DePaola, the Coastal Connection, here at J&M Tackle, the Gulf Coast foremost outfitter. As always, Carson Hall next to me. Look, it doesn't even feel right. We don't hardly have any tackle up here.
I know.
But, like, it doesn't take a lot to catch tunas, especially
really
when they're biting. And we're going to kind of go over a couple ways, just quick, easy ways to fish for them. We're going to break down some tricks and techniques. And here we go. So, you know, for me, you don't need a big hook. I like a little 5-0. You can go up to 6-0, 7-0 if you want. But this hook catches a ton of fish. Fish up to 130 fluoro, and we have 80. And I thought I had grabbed a 60 and a 50. But look, when they get hard to eat, when it gets hard to get them to eat, you scale down. When it doesn't get hard, you scale up so you don't have to fight them and you don't get Heartbreak City.
Yeah.
Islander with a twinkle fly in front of it. I mean,
It's hard to beat.
I mean, not an island, a hook with a twinkle fly in front of it and ballyhoo.
Yeah. That's a classic trolling tuna lure there. A small Islander or a little Molecraft chugger, something like that in front of them. You don't need much, just something to give it a little color or something.
80 to a whole 100-pound fluoro on this, just in case Mr. Billfish comes up. Mm-hmm. You can drop down to 60 if you want. Carson was like, I don't like it because, sure enough, you get a 150-pound tuna. You spend 6 hours and then
Pop them off.
At the boat. And then you miss the whole bite while you're fighting one fish just to have this.
I won't go below 60. I know plenty of guys that have caught them on 40 pounds, but like I said, I'll move on and do something different.
This is not the hook or the fishery that you want to snell unless you're going to put some chafe in there. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
So look, let's just talk. Obviously, you know, if you're fishing the rigs, and quite honestly, these fish move a little into what we call the ghetto, the rampal, the marlin, the beer can. You know, these rigs in closer to the shelf, especially as we come into October, November, they just seem to come up a little bit tighter. We can catch them on live bait. You know, ain't much to it. Catch some cigar minnows, some thread fins, some LYs. All that stuff's going to live good in your live well. You fish it on a long piece of fluoro with a small circle hook. You bump it around. If you have some skills, you kite fish. We're not getting into that today. Obviously, you got the trolling. But I think there's a whole, like, chunking seems like easy. Like, could there be any tricks with chunking? And yeah, there is.
There are a few. I mean, it seems like it's plain and simple. You throw out a piece of bait and put a hook with a piece of bait in it too in the mix. But there's things that you can do to make your chunk blend in with the other ones that don't have a hook and make it sink at the same rate, and also, you know, to fall off the hook and stay on the hook. When I'm chunking, I like to take my knife that I'm cutting my baits and poke a hole through my chunk, push my hook all the way through and hook it on the back side of just the meat. No, don't go through any skin. And when I'm done, I've gone however far I want to let my chunk out. I let my line get tight, and then I snatch the hook out of the chunk of bait and reel in just the hook so it doesn't twist my line up.
Dude, excellent tip. So, like, one of the things is, I mean, when they're eating the chunk and they're just everywhere, there's nothing to it, you don't have to do that much. But what happens when the bite's tough and you're not getting a lot of bites? Well, one of the things is, tuna are pretty smart. If they see your chunk sinking at a faster rate than the chunks you're just throwing out, you're probably not going to get a bite. One of the things I learned a long time ago, pick you up some coffee cups from here at J&M Tackle on the way out. When you're grabbing you a cup of coffee, cut a little triangle, insert that into your chunk to counteract the weight of your hook. And that way, the bait's going to come down at the same rate as everything else. I promise you that'll make a difference. A few years ago, we were fishing up in Nova Scotia, and I learned some tricks for some guys that do it professionally all the time. And one of the things is when you're chunking, you tend to fish 30, 50, 60 feet of fluoro on your line. And part of the problem is when you reel that onto your reel, it creates memory in the line. And so when you're chunking out, it coils up, and it's just something else the fish can see. One of the things you can do is when you're running out, stick your rods in the transom of your boat facing towards the bow, run the hooks up to a little cleat with a little, you tie a little loop of mono up there and crank down and stretch out your fluoro and stretch the memory out of the line. It's another little aspect of fishing that's going to get you more bites, especially when it's tough. Anybody can catch fish when it's easy, but when it's tough, a few little tricks make all the difference. One of the other things is when they had the fish up in the boat or up in the chunk, and you could see them, but you couldn't get them to eat. And a lot of times what happens is if it's just one fish, there's no competition for him. So he's very, very weary. What you can do is position the boat so your bait is going into the shadow. This is going to keep light from reflecting on your line during the daytime, and less light reflection on your line, less likely to see it. And it was very interesting. They would take their water hose and spray it in the air, and this would create kind of a raindrop effect. It's just like camouflage. If you're breaking up that light, there's less chance that he's going to see what's going on down below. Just a few little tips to make you more successful. Man, tuna fishing's easy when you
really
want it to
is.
be.
It's a very limited amount of tackle that really requires to go out there. You pretty much go out there with everything that'll fit in one Plano box and go tuna fishing for days.
Yep. Sabikis to catch bait, hooks, fluoro, dusters, and a couple Talica 25s set up on some nice J&M rods, and you're ready to roll.
Yeah, go Tiagra 50s.
I like it. Why not? You know, it's just the diesel engine of trucks.
It is. I mean, Talicas, I love them. They're fast and they're super powerful and strong, but they don't hold up like the Tiagras do. And if you're fishing them hard, you know, they show their age quickly.
They do.
So I like a Tiagra. Just let it dig.
I get it. Talica's a Ferrari. Tiagra is a diesel. You're going to buy the Ferrari, you're going to send it to the shop once a year. That's just the way they roll.
Yep.
Look, as always, hit these guys up at J&M Tackle. They've got all the tackle. They are a wealth of knowledge. If you need real estate, hit me up. Angelo DePaola of The Coastal Connection. You know where to find me. I say it every one of these videos. Keep some fish for tomorrow. Keep your garbage in the boat, and we'll catch you next time.